In an era where digital connection is constant, have you ever stopped to think about the price your mind is paying? Hello, and welcome to a video that can transform not only your relationship with technology, but your very existence. We live in paradoxical times. We have never been so connected, and at the same time, we have never experienced so much isolation and anxiety. The statistics are alarming. In the last 5 years, cases of anxiety disorders have increased by 25%. Depression among young people has doubled. And the average time we spend looking at screens has exceeded 7 hours a day. Our brains, evolutionarily designed for a world of real connections and natural rhythms, are now swimming in a digital ocean without a compass. But what if I told you that the solution to this modern dilemma might lie in a philosophy that's more than 2,000 years old? Stoicism, developed in ancient Greece and refined by the Romans, offers not just a set of principles, but practical tools that are surprisingly relevant to our contemporary digital challenges. During this video, I promise you something powerful. I will unlock codes in your mind, codes that the ancient Stoics discovered, and that have the power to reorganize your experience with technology. At the end of this journey, you will no longer see your smartphone, your social networks, or your digital consumption in the same way. You will have in your hands ancient, time-tested techniques to navigate the modern world with balance and purpose. We'll explore how the Stoic principle of selective attention can combat digital information overload, how the practice of compare yourself only to your own values counteracts the poison of social comparison on social media, and how embracing the present moment dissolves the FOMO, fear of missing out, that keeps us enslaved to notifications. We'll examine the Stoic concept of self-mastery to deal with digital addiction, and how seeking mental peace can protect us from the stress of constant interruptions. Get ready for a transformation. I'm not exaggerating when I say that the next few minutes could fundamentally change your relationship with technology and, consequently, your own mental health. Ancient wisdom is about to illuminate your digital path. Before we get started, subscribe to our channel to keep receiving content like this. Okay? Digital information overload and the Stoic principle of selective attention. Have you ever felt that overwhelming feeling when you open your news feed? Like you're drinking from a fire hose? Welcome to infobesity, the informational obesity that characterizes our age. Every minute, more than 500,000 tweets, 65,000 photos on Instagram, and 500 hours of video on YouTube are published. Our brains, designed to process information from a primitive village, are now trying to digest data from an entire planet. The consequences of this informational avalanche are devastating for our mental health. Studies show that information overload reduces our ability to make decisions by up to 50%, increases our levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, and leaves us in a perpetual state of continuous partial attention. Never fully present, always partially distracted. Here comes the first code I'm going to unlock in your mind, the Stoic principle of selective attention. Epictetus, one of the great teachers of Stoicism, taught, "Some things are within our control and some are not." And he continued, "Within our control is opinion, impulse, desire, aversion. In a word, everything that is our own doing." The Stoics understood something profound. Your attention is the most valuable resource you have. And contrary to what big tech would have you believe, you can consciously choose where to place it. Try this Stoic exercise right now. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this information under my control? Does it serve my highest purpose? Imagine yourself as a guardian at the gate of your mind, consciously deciding what deserves entry. Stoic practice suggests creating daily rituals of information consumption. Instead of reacting to every notification, set specific times to check email, news, and social media. Many modern practitioners of Stoicism adopt an information diet, limiting news to 30 minutes in the morning, social media to predetermined times, and practicing regular digital fasts. This first step, recognizing your power of choice over your attention, already begins to break the invisible chains of technology. Social comparison on social media. How the Stoic practice of comparing yourself only to your own values can help. How many times have you found yourself scrolling through your feed and, without realizing it, felt that pang of inadequacy? Why does everyone else seem to be living more interesting lives than me? This is the trap of social comparison, now amplified to the extreme by social media. Recent research from the University of Pennsylvania has shown that the more time we spend on platforms like Instagram and Facebook, the more likely we are to experience feelings of depression and loneliness. One revealing study found that 60% of social media users report that social media negatively impacts their self-esteem. And it's no wonder. We're constantly exposed to highly curated and unrealistic versions of other people's lives. Algorithms are designed to show us the extraordinary, never the ordinary. No one posts pictures of themselves washing dishes or battling insomnia at 3 a.m. As a result, we compare our entire lives with all their challenges and mundane moments to the highlights of hundreds of other people. Here is a second code I will unlock in your mind: the Stoic practice of comparing yourself only to your own values. Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "Do not be carried away by the opinion of the majority. Look at things in themselves." The Stoics had profound understanding that the true measure of a life well lived is not in comparison with others, but in fidelity to one's own values. They spoke of living in accordance with nature, not in the sense of living in the countryside, but in harmony with our deep nature and our core values. Try the Stoic exercise. Do a values-based audit of your social media. Ask yourself, does my time here bring me closer to or further from my core values? Does this content nourish or poison my mind? Many modern practitioners of Stoicism keep a values notebook where they regularly revisit what really matters to them, using as a compass to navigate the digital sea. When you are clear about your values, comparisons lose their power over you. FOMO, fear of missing out, and Stoic acceptance of the present moment. You know that unsettling feeling that something amazing is happening somewhere and you're missing out? Young people have dubbed it FOMO, fear of missing out. This isn't just a casual anxiety, but a real psychological phenomenon that affects 56% of social media users. According to recent research, FOMO keeps us in a constant state of dissatisfaction with the present. While our body is here, our mind wanders to all the potential experiences we could be having. Neurologically, this creates a perpetual state of low-level anxiety, with our nervous system never fully relaxed, always on partial alert. The paradox is that the more we try not to lose anything, the more we lose the only thing we really have, the present moment. Here's the third code I will unlock in your mind: the Stoic acceptance of the present moment, expressed in the Latin phrase hic et nunc, here now. Seneca, one of the great Stoic teachers, wrote, "It is useless to grieve over what has not yet happened or what is already gone. The present is all we have." The Stoics developed powerful practices to anchor the mind in the present. One of these is the exercise of contemplating mortality, memento mori, not as a morbid practice, but as a vivid reminder of the finiteness of time, making the present moment infinitely precious. Try this Stoic exercise now. Close your eyes for 30 seconds. Breathe deeply and notice 3 physical sensations in your body. Notice 3 sounds in your environment. Notice 3 thoughts running through your mind. This simple practice, derived from Stoic contemplation, reconnects you to the only moment that truly exists. Many modern practitioners of Stoicism establish FOMO-free zones in their lives, times dedicated to being fully present, without devices. Some adopt the practice of active gratitude, where they consciously appreciate the good things in the present moment, counteracting the urge to seek something better elsewhere. Acceptance of the present is not resignation, but liberation. When you are not constantly looking for something better, you discover the richness of what you already have. Dependence on electronic devices, and the Stoic concept of self-mastery. How many times have you picked up your smartphone just to check the time, only to find yourself 20 minutes later deep in an endless scroll? You're not alone. The average American unlocks their phone 96 times a day. That's about once every 10 minutes. A revealing study from the University of Chicago found that the allure of smartphones trumps even a desire for food or sex for many people. This isn't a character flaw, but an intentional design. Modern devices are designed to create dopamine loops in our brains, short bursts of pleasure that condition us to return again and again. The pull to refresh buttons, the likes, and the random notifications aren't accidents. They're carefully designed mechanisms to keep our attention captive. Here comes a fourth code I will unlock in your mind. The Stoic concept of enkrateia, self-mastery or inner strength. Epictetus, who began life as a slave, wrote, "No man is free who is not master of himself." The Stoics understood something profound. True freedom comes not from doing what we want, but from wanting what we do. They regularly practice voluntary abstinence, not as a self-punishment, but as an exercise in inner freedom, proving to themselves that their desires did not control them. Try this Stoic exercise. Establish a weekly digital fast. Start with just an hour, gradually building up to a full day. During this time, carefully observe the urges that arise, the urge to check messages, the restlessness, the feeling of being disconnected. Don't judge these urges. Just observe them like a curious scientist. Many modern Stoicists use techniques like the digital sandbox, setting aside specific spaces and time for technology use, while keeping the rest of their lives a device-free sanctuary. Others practice dumb interfaces, removing social media apps from their phones and accessing them only through a browser, making the experience less addictive. Stoic self-mastery is not about deprivation, but about reclaiming your autonomy. When you control your relationship with technology, rather than being controlled by it, you experience a profound form of freedom that no device can offer. The stress of constant notifications and the Stoic practice of mental peace of mind. Ping, a text, ding, an email, BZZD, an Instagram like. The average smartphone user receives 46 notifications a day. Each one triggers a small burst of cortisol, the stress hormone, in our bodies. Neurologically, each interruption shifts our attention, and research shows that it takes an average of 23 minutes to regain full focus after a distraction. We live in a state that psychologists call residual divided attention. Part of our mental capacity is always reserved for monitoring potential notifications, even when we're trying to focus on something else. It's like trying to sleep with one eye open. The consequences are serious. Studies show that chronic low-level stress caused by constant interruptions can lead to adrenal exhaustion, sleep problems, and even contribute to the development of anxiety disorders. Here is the fifth code I will unlock in your mind. The Stoic practice of ataraxia, undisturbed mental tranquility. Seneca, advisor to Emperor Nero, wrote, "The wise man cultivates an inner space where he can retreat at any time and find peace, regardless of external circumstances." The Stoics understood that the mind needs periods of silence and stillness to integrate experiences, process information, and renew itself. They regularly practice retreat, deliberate moments of withdrawal from the noise of Roman public life to cultivate inner tranquility. Try the Stoic exercise. Create digital sanctuaries in your life, spaces and moments completely free of technology. This could be your bedroom at night, the early morning hours, or family time. In these sanctuaries, practice complete digital silence. No devices, notifications, or interruptions. Many modern Stoicists adopt the no morning rule. They don't check email or social media until they've completed their morning ritual of reflection and preparation for the day. Others keep their phones on airplane mode for certain periods of time, creating a bubble of calm amid the digital chaos. The Stoic pursuit of tranquility is not escapism, but necessary recalibration. When you cultivate spaces of digital silence, your mind finds a more natural rhythm, reclaiming its innate capacity for focus, creativity, and clarity. How Epictetus' dichotomy of control applies to technology use. Some things are within our control, and some things are not. This simple quote from Epictetus, perhaps the most fundamental tenet of Stoicism, offers an extraordinary compass for navigating the digital chaos. In the online world, we constantly stress about elements outside of our control. The algorithm that changed, the offensive comment from a stranger, the viral post that left us out, the immediate response we didn't receive. Recent studies on digital anxiety reveal that 64% of social media users experience significant stress from online events that are completely beyond their control. Psychologists call this locus of control shift. We gradually transfer our sense of power and agency to external entities, be they algorithms, platforms, or other users. This is the root of much modern anxiety. We try to control the uncontrollable while neglecting what is truly within our control. Here is the sixth code I will unlock in your mind. Epictetus' Dichotomy of Control applied to the digital world. This powerful cognitive tool invites us to clearly divide what is and what is not under our control, redirecting our energy exclusively toward the first group. Under your control, the time you spend on technology, the apps you install, when you turn on Do Not Disturb mode, the people you follow, the terms you search for, the limits you set. Out of your control, the platform's algorithms, other people's opinions about you online, who likes or comments on your posts, viral trends, notifications that arrive. Try the Stoic exercise. Create 2 columns on a piece of paper. In the first, list all the aspects of your digital life that are within your control. In the second, those that are not. Now, make a radical commitment. Invest 100% of your energy in the first column only. Many modern practitioners of Stoicism keep a digital worry journal where they record technological worries and classify them into these 2 categories. Others practice inversion control. For each digital frustration, they identify a related aspect that is within their control. When you stop trying to control the uncontrollable online, something amazing happens. Your anxiety decreases and your effectiveness increases. As Epictetus taught, happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control and some are not. Digital mindfulness. Applying Stoic mindfulness to smartphone use. Have you ever felt that strange feeling when you realize you've been scrolling on your phone for 20 minutes without remembering how you started? You're not alone. Neuroimaging studies reveal that during passive mobile device use, regions of the brain associated with self-awareness and critical thinking show significantly reduced activity. Essentially, we enter an altered state of consciousness, almost like a light trance, as we scroll through endless feeds. This phenomenon, which psychologists call hypnotic browsing, explains why time seems to fly by when we're immersed in devices. Here is the 7th code I will unlock in your mind. The Stoic concept of prosoke, the vigilant and continuous attention to one's thoughts and actions. Long before mindfulness apps, the Stoics were already practicing a rigorous form of mindfulness. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "Wherever life can be lived, it can be lived well." For the Stoics, the quality of our lives depends fundamentally on the quality of our attention. Even when using technology, a powerful and potentially destructive tool, we can exercise complete mindfulness. Try the Stoic digital mindfulness exercise. Next time you reach for your smartphone, pause for 3 mindful breaths before unlocking it. Ask yourself, why am I reaching for this device? What is my intention? Does this align with my values? After using the device, pause again and reflect, did this use enrich or impoverish my experience? Many modern Stoic practitioners adopt an approach called intentional use. They set a clear intention and time limit before each technology session. Others practice what they call Stoic check-ins, brief moments of self-observation while using devices to check whether they're still present or have slipped into automatic mode. When we apply Stoic mindfulness to our use of technology, we transform a potentially alienating tool into a means for growth and presence. As Epictetus taught, in every situation, remember to look within yourself and see what faculty you have for dealing with it. The paradox of connection. Technology connects and isolates you as a Stoic perspective. We are living the greatest paradox of our time. We are simultaneously more connected and more alone than we have ever been in human history. A recent study from Harvard University revealed something surprising. The more time young adults spend on social media, the greater their feelings of social isolation. Another study found that 40% of American adults report feeling seriously lonely, despite having more tools for connection than any previous generation. How can we explain this paradox? Our brains have evolved to interpret connection through subtle cues, eye contact, facial microexpressions, body language, casual touches, elements that are almost entirely absent in digital interactions. Each text message or social media comment offers us only a fraction of the neural experience of connection that our brains expect. Here is the 8th code I will unlock in your mind. The Stoic concept of oikiosis, the natural and appropriate connection with other human beings. The Stoics deeply understood that humans are social beings by nature, but they also recognize that not all social connections are equally nourishing. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, developed the idea of concentric circles of concern. Started with oneself, expand into family, friends, community, and ultimately all of humanity. This vision of gradual connection informed the Stoic ideal of cosmopolitanism, the notion that we are citizens of the world, connected to all of humanity. Try the Stoic exercise. Assess the quality of your digital connections. Ask yourself, do these interactions move me closer to virtue? Do they reflect and reinforce my deepest values? Do they foster a genuine sense of belonging? Divide your digital contacts into those that genuinely enrich your life and those that impoverish it. Many modern Stoic practitioners embrace the rule of presence. When they're physically with someone, they put away their devices to give them their full attention. Others practice the digital Stoic circle, cultivating online connections that reflect depth and authenticity rather than quantity. The true antidote to the paradoxical digital loneliness is not more technology, but authentic connection. As Seneca wrote, "No good is pleasant without companionship, but he who considers anyone a friend considers no one as such." Premeditatio malorum, preparing mentally for digital challenges. Have you ever felt that rush of panic when you realize you've forgotten your smartphone at home? Or the overwhelming anxiety when your internet connection goes down during an important video conference? Our dependence on technology has created new psychological vulnerabilities, small crises that can trigger disproportionate emotional reactions. The Stoics, more than 2,000 years ago, developed a powerful technique for dealing with adversity that applies perfectly to today's digital challenges. Premeditatio malorum, the practice of mentally anticipating difficulties. Here's the 9th code I'm going to unlock in your mind. Stoic negative visualization. This is not a practice of worrying or catastrophizing, but a disciplined exercise of imagination to build resilience. Seneca explained, "He who foresees every danger will perish in the face of none. He who is instructed to expect evil overcomes evil." Unlike anticipatory anxiety, which involves unproductive rumination, Stoic premeditatio is a controlled exercise in visualization and mental preparation. You consciously imagine the problem, accept its possibility, and visualize yourself responding with virtue and equanimity. Try the Stoic exercise before an important digital activity. Take a few minutes to visualize potential problems. Your internet might fail. Someone might make toxic comments. Your device might crash. For each scenario, visualize yourself responding with calm, resilience, and integrity. Don't try to avoid emotional discomfort. Feel it fully, but see yourself navigating it with virtue. Many modern practitioners of Stoicism keep a digital resilience journal where they regularly contemplate potential technological challenges and their virtuous responses. Others practice mental rehearsal before potentially difficult digital interactions, such as social media conversations about polarizing topics. This practice is not pessimism, but realistic preparation. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, say to yourself, 'Today I will encounter nosy, ungrateful, arrogant, treacherous, envious, and unfriendly people.'" In the digital context, we could add trolls, hackers, technical failures, and information overload. Premeditatio does not eliminate the challenge, but it does remove its power to completely destabilize your mental equilibrium. You have developed emotional antibodies through prior controlled exposure. Stoic values to guide our technological consumption choices. In the digital maelstrom of infinite content, how do we decide what deserves our attention? In a world of constant supply, scarcity lies in the wisdom of choosing wisely. The average person today consumes more information in a day than someone in the 17th century consumed in a lifetime. Without a clear value system, we are at the mercy of the latest, most shocking, or most optimized for engagement. Here's the 10th code I'm going to unlock in your mind. The 4 Stoic cardinal virtues as a filter for your digital choices. The Stoics believe that 4 fundamental virtues form the basis of a life well lived: wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. These provide an elegant framework for navigating the ocean of digital choices. Wisdom, prudence. Ask yourself, does this content make me wiser? Does it expand my understanding of the world? Or does it simply confirm my existing beliefs? Stoic wisdom invites us to seek out diverse and challenging perspectives, not just those that agree with us. Courage. Ask yourself, Am I choosing this content out of conviction or conformity? Do I have the courage to resist FOMO and passing trends? Stoic courage means following your own compass, not just the mainstream. Temperance. Reflect. Am I consuming too much? Is this digital consumption in balance with other areas of my life? Stoic temperance reminds us that more rarely means better. Justice. Ask yourself, does this content contribute to a more just world? Do my digital interactions reflect respect for others? Stoic justice guides us to consider the broader impact of our digital choices. Try the Stoic exercise. Conduct a virtue audit of your digital consumption. Look at the last 5 videos you've watched, articles you've read, or podcasts you've listened to. Evaluate them according to the 4 cardinal virtues. What patterns do you notice? What areas need more attention? Many modern practitioners of Stoicism establish media virtuous budgets, consciously allocating time to content that cultivates each of the 4 virtues. Others adopt the practice of fasting and feasting, alternating periods of digital abstinence with intense but carefully selected consumption. As Epictetus taught, first tell yourself what you would be, then do what you must do. Our digital consumption shapes who we become. Choose consciously. The Stoic concept of time as a limited resource and its application to digital life. It is not that we have little time, but that we waste so much of it. This observation by Seneca, written 2 millennia ago, resonates with frightening relevance in our age of infinite scrolling. The global average time spent on digital devices exceeds 7 hours a day, effectively half of our waking hours. If we lived to be 80, we would spend 23 years of our lives staring at screens. Technology has created an unprecedented distortion in our perception of time. Interfaces are meticulously designed to create states of compulsive flow, where we completely lose track of time. Psychologists call this temporal displacement, a shift in our ability to accurately estimate how much time has passed. Here's the 11th code I will unlock in your mind. The Stoic concept of time is our most precious and limited resource. In his essay on the shortness of life, Seneca wrote, "We are not given a short life, but we make it short. Life is long if you know how to use it." The Stoics understood deeply that true wealth was not measured in material possessions, but in how we use our time. They regularly practiced contemplation of mortality, not as a morbid exercise, but as a tool to appreciate each moment. Try this Stoic exercise. Calculate how much time you spend on digital devices each week. Now multiply that by 52 to get your annual number of hours. Ask yourself, if I knew I only had 1 more year to live, would I continue to spend my time this way? Then create a digital time budget that aligns with your deepest values. Many modern practitioners of Stoicism keep time journals where they record how they spend their hours, reviewing them regularly to ensure alignment with their core values. Others practice deathbed visualization, imagining themselves at the end of their life, reflecting on the time they spent on devices. When we internalize a Stoic understanding of time as a non-renewable resource, every decision to open an app or watch a video becomes a meaningful act. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave this life at any moment. Keep that in mind in everything you do, say, or think." The Stoic practice of reflective journal as an antidote to passive content consumption. Our brains process information in 2 fundamentally different ways: passively consumption or actively creation/reflection. Neuroscientists have found that passive consumption of digital content primarily activates the sensory processing regions of the brain, while active reflection engages the prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for critical thinking, insight, and wisdom. Studies show that we spend approximately 95% of our digital time passively consuming, and only 5% actively creating or reflecting. This dramatic disproportion has significant consequences for our mental health. The more we passively consume, the less we are able to process, integrate, and extract meaning from information. Here is a 12th code I will unlock in your mind. The Stoic practice of reflective journaling, hypomnemia, as an antidote to passive digital consumption. The Stoics developed sophisticated techniques of reflective writing as a way to process experiences, clarify thoughts, and integrate learning. Emperor Marcus Aurelius himself practiced this exercise daily. His meditations were not written for publication, but as a dialogue with himself, a tool for self-examination and growth. Seneca wrote, "Withdraw into yourself and reflect. Much more is learned in silence than in tumult." Try the Stoic exercise. Establish a daily digital processing ritual. For 15 minutes, reflectively write about your content consumption for the day. What information did you encounter? How did it impact you? What insights can be drawn? What actions can be taken? This practice transforms passive consumption into actionable wisdom. Many modern practitioners of Stoicism keep digital consumption journals, where they regularly record the most valuable insights they encounter online, along with personal reflections. Others practice Stoic weekly reviews, where they take time to process and integrate all the digital content they consume throughout the week. Neuroscience confirms what the Stoics intuited millennia ago. It is not what we consume that transforms us, but how we process it. Reflective writing activates brain regions associated with information integration, memory consolidation, and the development of wisdom. As Epictetus advised, do not present yourself as a philosopher through speeches, but through actions. Converting consumption into reflection and action is the Stoic way to transform information into wisdom. Virtual x real friendships. The Stoic view on genuine relationships. How many friends do you have in the digital world? This question has become surprisingly difficult to answer. The average Facebook user has 338 friends, but anthropological studies suggest that humans are cognitively equipped to maintain only about 150 meaningful relationships, the so-called Dunbar's number. Even more telling, research shows that while we are more connected than ever before, the number of people most Americans feel comfortable sharing personal problems with has dropped from 3 to 1.5 over the past 3 decades. We are simultaneously more connected and more isolated. Here is the 13th code I will unlock in your mind. The Stoic view of true friendship, philia. For the Stoics, friendship was not a matter of convenience or entertainment, but a deep relationship based on shared values and mutual growth toward virtue. Seneca wrote extensively about friendship, stating, "One of the most beautiful requisites of friendship is to understand and to be understood." He believed that genuine friendships were one of life's greatest gifts, but he also warned against superficial relationships, noting that the crowd is not company. The Stoics offered clear criteria for evaluating relationships. Do they bring us closer to virtue or further away from it? Do they promote our growth or limit us? Are they authentic or performative? Try the Stoic exercise. Conduct a relationship audit of your digital and in-person connections. For each meaningful relationship, ask, does this relationship make me a better person? Is there genuine reciprocity? Can I be authentically myself? It's not about elimination, but clarity of purpose. Many modern practitioners of Stoicism adopt the 1:3 rule. For every hour spent interacting digitally, they devote 3 hours to meaningful face-to-face connections. Others practice regular Stoic conversations. Deep conversations focus on substantive topics rather than trivialities. When we apply the Stoic perspective to digital relationships, we don't reject technology, but rather reorient it to serve authentic connections. As Epictetus taught, above all, remember that the door is open. We always have the choice to invest our time in relationships that truly matter. Stoic distancing applied to online criticism and cyberbullying. The digital world has created a phenomenon unprecedented in human history. It has never been easier for complete strangers to publicly criticize, attack, or ridicule others. A recent study found that 59% of teens have experienced some form of cyberbullying. Among adults, 41% report experiencing online harassment. The psychological impact is significant. The region of the brain that processes social rejection is the same one that processes physical pain. Words can literally hurt. And in the digital world, those words are amplified, permanent, and public. Here is the 14th code I will unlock in your mind. The Stoic technique of cognitive dissociation applied to negative digital interactions. The Stoics developed sophisticated practices for distinguishing between the external event and our interpretation of it, what they call judgment or opinion. Epictetus, in his handbook, offered a powerful mental tool. It is not the things themselves that disturb us, but the judgments we make about them. He taught that other people's opinions are completely beyond our control and therefore should have no power over us. Try the Stoic exercise. The next time you encounter a negative review or comment online, practice cognitive distancing. Pause. Breathe. Tell yourself, this is just an opinion, not a fact. I can choose not to embrace it as my truth. I can separate what is being said from who I really am. Many modern practitioners of Stoicism keep a criticism journal where they record negative reactions they've received online, along with rational analyses of those criticisms, extracting any constructive value while discarding toxic elements. Others practice the Stoic inner voice, developing a strong internal narrative that overrides external critical voices. Stoic detachment does not mean insensitivity or emotional coldness. We feel the initial emotional impact, but we refuse to let define our identity or determine our actions. As Marcus Aurelius advised, choose not to be harmed, and you will not feel harmed. Do not feel harmed, and you will not have been. This Stoic practice offers a powerful tool for navigating the often toxic environment of social media, while preserving our peace of mind and emotional integrity. Setting healthy technological boundaries. Stoic self-control in the digital age. Just as water needs banks to form a river, our minds need boundaries to channel their power. In a digital world designed to capture and hold our attention indefinitely, setting intentional boundaries isn't just beneficial, it's essential for our mental health and autonomy. Science proves it. Studies show that people with strong digital boundaries report significantly higher levels of life satisfaction, better sleep, deeper relationships, and a greater sense of purpose. One eye-opening study found that simply keeping smartphones in another room during conversations increases empathy and connection by 37%. Here's the 15th and final code I will unlock in your mind. The Stoic concept of proeresis, the ability to make deliberate moral choices, applied to technology. For the Stoics, this faculty of conscious choice was a core human dignity and the basis for a virtuous life. Epictetus argued that we are fundamentally defined by our choices, not by external circumstances. In a world where algorithms and notifications constantly try to choose for us, reclaiming our ability to make autonomous decisions is a revolutionary act. Try the Stoic exercise. Create your personal digital constitution, a set of clear principles and boundaries to guide your relationship with technology. These aren't rigid rules imposed from the outside, but deliberate choices that align with your deepest values. Many modern practitioners of Stoicism establish transition rituals, symbolic gestures that mark the passage between digital and non-digital spaces, such as putting devices away in a special box or reciting a brief personal mantra. Others practice what they call deliberate technology, periodically removing all apps from their devices and reinstalling only those that clearly serve their core values. The Stoics understood that true freedom lies not in doing what we want in the moment, but in being able to want what serves us in the long term. By setting intentional digital boundaries, we exercise our most quintessentially human faculty, the ability to consciously choose. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, the soul becomes tinged with the color of its thoughts. In a digital world competing for our attention, we consciously choose which influences we allow. At the end of this journey, we realize something extraordinary. The wisdom developed by the Stoics over 2,000 years ago offers exactly the tools we need to navigate the digital ocean of the 21st century. This is no mere coincidence, but a testament to the universality of fundamental human challenges. The Stoics face their own version of information overload, social comparison, and constant distractions. Like us, they lived in a world of rapid social and technological change. Their response was not to reject the world, but to develop a practical philosophy that strengthened the mind regardless of external circumstances. Revisiting our journey, we learned to practice selective attention amidst infobesity, to find our inner worth instead of comparing ourselves on social media, to embrace the present moment against FOMO, to cultivate self-mastery in the face of digital addiction, and create spaces of calm amidst the chaos of constant notifications. We explore how to distinguish what is within our control in the digital environment, how to practice mindfulness when using devices, how to cultivate genuine connections despite the paradox of hyperconnection, how to mentally prepare ourselves for online adversity, and how to align our technological consumption with core Stoic values. We reflect on time as a precious resource, the importance of active reflection over passive consumption, the Stoic criteria for virtual versus real friendships, techniques for distancing yourself from online criticism, and how to establish healthy digital boundaries. Remember, Stoicism is not a destination, but a daily practice. The Stoics themselves considered themselves progressors, eternal students on the path to wisdom. It's not about perfection, but about consistent progress. As Seneca reminds us, begin, even if it is late. Do not be afraid to begin, even if it is slowly. Every small conscious choice in your digital life is a step towards inner freedom and mental balance. In a world that competes incessantly for our attention, perhaps the most radical act is to deliberately choose where we place it. If this video impacted you, consider subscribing to our channel to strengthen our support network. This way, we will bring you more and more liberating content. Remember, technology is a powerful tool, but you are the master. As Epictetus would say, first decide who you want to be, then do what you have to do. Thank you for sharing this journey to digital wisdom. See you soon.